And so, with 6 zones, I said they're all open for further exploration. I think that's huge, right? I think often you get a historical resource and people have a focus on, okay, you know what, we're going to go rebuild the resource. And that's great. Don't get me wrong. But where people get excited is how do we get to 5 million ounces? And if your focus is only on developing that million ounces back to a million ounces, you're too small.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Deepak Varshney. He is the CEO of Formation Metals. And Deepak, it's good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing great, Steve. It's an exciting time to be in the world right now.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of stuff going on, especially with Formation Metals. We'll talk about that in just a second. But maybe give us a bit of background on the company itself.
Sure. So Formation was built with the mind of being Canada focused. It's a spin out of our actual assets in Usha Resources. So what we did was we took Canadian assets, we wanted to build a Canadian focused company, and that's really where we started. We have a wonderful base metals project in Ontario, but we've now recently added a project in Quebec, and really we're going to be trying to fill a niche in Canada with the junior mining space where a lot of companies right now are struggling to find good projects and strong capital, and we're going to aim to fill both those niches.
Yeah, I picked it up from Wallbridge Mining. It's called the N2 property. So it's in a obviously a very good jurisdiction, as you mentioned, the Abitibi belt. So tell me a little bit about what you really liked about this project and wanted to make that deal.
For sure. So, you know what? Quebec is phenomenal. It's just a great place to be working in. The support for the junior mining business there is second to none in Canada. It's really evidenced by the fact that when you're trying to raise flow through money to really put money into the ground, there's no shortage of money available for quality projects, quality companies. And so that really was something that we were very interested in when we were looking for projects. And two, comes from actually, Wallbridge, really great background where they've worked on this, Balmoral before that. It's the kind of project where, I think a lot of exploration right now is grassroots. You're looking for
Yeah.
smoke. Here, we have historical resource just shy of 900,000 ounces with a lot of room to grow. This is a multi-kilometer system, many targets, everything's open at depth along strike. We have high grade zones, which we're really excited about. The RJ zone, 7.5 grams a ton, starts pretty much right at surface, which is very, that's what you're looking for in the gold space and the mining space. You want to find resources as close to the surface as possible, high grade, jurisdiction, great history. So, this sets us up in a spot where now we're going after a project with a known quantity with a lot of room to grow. And I think that's a great starting point for any project. So
Yeah, it's about 4,400 hectares in total, 87 claims on the property. And in the news you released, you talk a lot about the fact that there's been no real drilling on here since 2008, but there does, the historical resources there, obviously, as you mentioned, and six gold mineralization zones. So it obviously has something that needs to be further reviewed, I think.
well, that's it. I mean, I think the for us the benefit is obviously in 2008. We all know about the big crisis, the meltdown in 2008, which led into a decade of very little expenditure across the mining industry overall, right? And so
Yeah.
what we saw and what Wallbridge saw and Balmoral saw was an opportunity here. So they did all the work that you need to see, okay, where do we go next? Their focus shifted to Fenelon, and this is something that we're looking for good partners with, a good home, and we jumped on the opportunity. And so, with 6 zones, I said they're all open for further exploration. I think that's huge, right? I think often you get a historical resource and people have a focus on, okay, you know what, we're going to go rebuild the resource. And that's great. Don't get me wrong. But where people get excited is how do we get to 5 million ounces? And
Yeah.
if your focus is only on developing that million ounces back to a million ounces, you're too small. For us,
Yeah.
what this gives us is an opportunity to see, okay, you know what? We know there's historically something in the ground. Obviously, we're going to go back and do some work to bring that into to make that resource current. But it's the discovery upside here with each of the 6 zones that really excites us.
Yeah. So hoping to get on the property this year, Deepak?
That's the plan. So we're gonna start by flying more geophysics. We have our own ideas on the data historically that was collected, and so we want to really measure 3 times where we cut once. So, but I mean, meanwhile, while we're doing that, we'll be working on our base metals project, right? The Nicobat project. Nickel has really, I think, had a nice run recently. Coming a lot of a lot of deals have been coming in strong this year, and that's another project for us to be working on simultaneously, right? We have something going on all the time in this company. If it's not gold, it's nickel.
There you go. Deepak, congratulations on the exciting times ahead, and we look forward to following the story. All right.
All right, chat soon.
All right, that's good. Deepak Varshney, he's the CEO of Formation Metals.